I'm Turk Strongman at Tharan Q Rama Charaka. Thank you for selecting this video on your scream. My scream. The scream. The scream. There. And how to get it out. Before continuing, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, just do it. Just kind of like do it now, all right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Activate the notification bell feature while you're at it. Share the joy of the channel with others, and you can start by giving this video a thumb up. Comment courteously below. Now, with those humbling requests having been humbly stated, let's move forward to the scream and how to get it out. What's the scream? Well, the scream, there's more than one. There's more than one. You have more than one, probably. I'm talking about whichever one you want to consider right now that's waiting inside you, maybe way deep in there. So deep, so old, so buried that you might not even know there's actually a scream there. It might be more like a little twang of pain. It might be a twinge of regret. It has to do with some memory, something in your life that's already taken place, though. That it does have to do with. There's the component of it, like it's one of its close relatives, the memory of the event, which largely involves a mental image. Maybe it's a still shot, or maybe it's like a little video clip. But it's the memory, and there may be other components to that memory. There probably are. Like there's a verbal description, no matter how vague, that kind of comes along with that mental image at the same time. Some way to identify or name and describe that image of an event. So there's the text that goes with it, the mental text that goes with the mental illustration. It's largely the image. So you've got the memory of it, the thought of it, the concept, whatever. Right. But then there's this other component, this first one here. There's maybe, it might come across as a bit of, like a pang of nostalgia, a touch of regret, some remorse, maybe just a desire to have it back. That's more like nostalgia. That's a touch of pain, emotional pain. But if it has sound to it, it might be like a scream. A scream. That would be its raw form. That's its raw form. Kind of like is the raw vocalization, the primal vocalization that our vocal cords can make with our lips open. Its counterpart with our lips closed is There's no specific way we're shaping that into some other sound that's of a bit higher order. Like the letter E or the word breath. It's just the raw thing. In this case, it's a scream. We might be so far in there, though, we can barely hear it, barely know it's there, maybe never even thought about it. But there's something there. And if let out in its raw sound form with our vocal cords, it would be a scream. But the sound of it, or the recognition of its existence, let alone the realization of it, the making it a real thing in your mind, current, present, there, and then manifesting it as a scream in the world, those are different matters. How do you get that done? With the scream. There's such a thing as screaming, but not all cases of screaming are realizations. Involve recognition and a realization and a manifestation of the scream. There's also the memory. That's a component of it. And screaming definitely is a component of manifesting the scream. the screaming of it, the actual bringing it forth as a sound vibration, done with your own vocal cords, in direct connection with, or that's the scream part that's been lingering back here, that's inherently tied in with the memory. How do you get those three components to go together, harmonize, so that they are all aspects of the same thing? In other words, it's the scream. It's that one. It's that one. And it's finally happening. It's actually happening. I mean, it's a scream in here, right? But, you know, when we think of scream, we're not thinking of the notion of it or the potential for it. We're thinking of it, which is a what? A scream. So how do we make that scream the scream? That's the scream. That might not be so easily done. I mean, if it was easily done, it might have already happened. It wouldn't be just waiting in there as a potential. So what do? You bring up the memory, you go somewhere where nobody can hear you, and you make a scream. Does that do it? Probably not. It's remembering and it's screaming, but is it the scream? Probably not. You might go somewhere and practice because you want the scream. You want to do the scream. So you go somewhere and practice for a while. You bring up a memory, right? I need to do some screaming. While you're remembering. But what do you end up doing in most cases? You might at first not even really get out a good scream. It might be more of a half yell. So you want to get a little bit more confident. You know, like, did anybody really hear me? I heard me. That was weird. Could I do it better? Did that even feel like a scream? That felt like a fake. That felt like half a yell. So now you're going to practice screaming for a while. You finally get a good scream, and then you remember, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be remembering this thing here and doing the screaming. So my voice is starting to get a little hoarse here. I've been practicing screaming. I think I got it. It's about the best I can do with my lung capacity, my vocal cords, my intent, you know, my directed will focus on it, my desire to get it done, you know, my intent, all of that. But what I did was I got better at screaming. So one more time here before I lose my voice, I'm going to remember the thing now, and I'm going to do the best scream I can here now because I figured out how to do that. And you do them both at the same time, and it still didn't really feel like a scream. It was just it was a scream, a decent one, at the same time as you remembered something on purpose, right at the same time. But was it the scream? Probably not yet. So how do you do that? How do you make it the scream? How do you get that scream out? That one, the scream. What's it take? You're probably going to have to wait. You know, like, be ready for this. Be ready for it. Be prepared. Know how to scream, for one. I guess maybe know the basic parts of a memory. You know, the image and its verbal description, which can be its name. Whatever. Something that identifies it. In language. You might call it in thought form. But then you just said thought form. The form is the picture. All right, so you're aware of it. You know what the memory's like. Well, someday you'll remember it. Okay? And when you are, and you recognize, oh, well, there is this scream thing waiting. And I know how to scream, so I'm going to take advantage of the memory and the recognition that there's some pang of something in there. That if I make a sound with it, and I'm really I turn up its volume, and I don't alter it in any way other than its raw form, it's a scream. And it's the scream. The one that's relevant right now. Okay? But I have to either get my conscious awareness that's out here where the memory is right now, the memory, in there to the scream, so that they're both in the same place. My conscious awareness, my current conscious experience, in there with that scream, or the other way to look at the same result is somehow now get that scream that's in there out here with the memory into my conscious awareness and get them done at the same time. Then that's the scream in my conscious life. And of course, there's the actual screaming of it. Okay, so the thing is to get these three things all aligned. The scream, screaming, and the memory. All brought to the same level of awareness, all working together. Here I'm going to make a mental picture of this happening. Those three things coming together. I only have two hands. I'm not an octopus. I'm a bipus. But I need to be a triplepus, because I really need three objects here. Scream. Whoa! Did you see that? That's how to get out of scream. Screaming. The scream. And third, this is my other hand. It's in the middle of the other two. See, over here's the one hand. Here's the other hand. And here's the third hand. It's really cool, isn't it? It's cinemagic, man. This is the memory. We want to get those three to converge and be aspects of the same thing. All right. So, but I can only show you two. So here you've got the memory free floating around. You ran off to a quiet place. You can do this and nobody's around to hear you. There aren't any cops around. There aren't any neighbors who already doubt your sanity hanging around. You're by yourself. You practiced screaming before. Now you're at a moment when you grab one of these three parts here, screaming, the scream, and the memory. You grab one, right? The one that comes to your conscious awareness, which is going to be the memory. You hold on to it, but it's kind of like free floating. It's not attached to the other two, but you need it to be. Okay, so here comes one of the other three. Screaming, all right? And there's got to be a point at which they kind of overlap in their independent journeys, in and around and among each other. Oh, right there's a spot, right there, they're together. They're harmonized. It's like one for a millisecond. But it's not just two things, it's three, right? So you got this other one, that one, right? Which is the scream. There's got to be a point in which those three things line up. I mean, what are the odds? And imagine if one moves on this axis, one moves on this axis, and the other one moves on this axis. And they all kind of whoa, right there. Whoa, for a second. They look like all one thing. That's like they're all lined up in harmony with one another. Right there, standing at attention, in ranks. Right there, in such a manner that your will, your I-ness, your I inside, right? I am. That part that's not part of any of this changing stuff, right? It's the part that's in there that's not changing. Sees that, my God, it's like all one right now. When that happens, and it will, you need to create the opportunity for it to. and hold with that. Don't consider it to be any more of a complicated thing than that. But those are the necessary components. You've got what's necessary and nothing more. All right? Just stick with that, doing that, making that condition the way it is. That set of circumstances. You got those three components. And when the moment comes when they look like, oh, they just crossed each other's paths all at the same time right there. Hold that. Now, when I say stop the movement, make a still shot of that, I don't mean go blank and let the whole thing just run away. No, what I mean is stop the moving around of those parts, right? When they have lined up with each other, like they've all crossed each other's paths together, right? Right now, just do a timeout on the forward progress of that scene going on in your head. That's the moment you're waiting for. That's the moment you're waiting for. So do your best to just stick with that right there, like that for a moment. You're going to have the scream, the memory, and your screaming all being parts of the same event now. It's the scream. Right then, it is. At that moment, held like that, like you've been playing your guitar, note after note, arpeggios, whatever, boom, 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 but you pick a note and you just hold it. You just put it on sustain. Boom, 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 boom. You stay right there. Those three items all lining up together. Like you got your ducks in a row right now. Boom, boom, boom. That's like a crystalline structure. It's a pure thing. That's what happens in crystalline structures when things are crystal. The molecules are all lined up together, all oriented in the same way. Like when you write the word love on a bottle of water and let it sit for a day. And you meant love when you wrote it on there. You put that love sort of vibration, mood, atmosphere, mental and astral atmosphere in the water now, and you let it there. The water absorbs it. The water's alive. The molecules pick up on it. And what effect does it have on them? The truth is, the fact of the matter is, that the water molecules all line up in rows like that. They all orient themselves the same way. And you've made a liquid crystal. That's a high order arrangement of things. In response to the word love, the feeling, not just the word, but what the word means, and its mental and astral projection. It's the mental and astral plane influences on that living water. Its structure. What makes it water? The H2O, you know? Every molecule standing just like the other ones beside it, all around it. It's a liquid crystal. And then you drink that, and you get those effects from it then, okay? Same kind of thing. All lined up. Just freeze frame. And hold it. Continue. Like that. For a second or two. As much as you can. All right? That's how you get the scream out here and experience it. Manifest it. Or bring your conscious awareness into it. However you want to look at it. All the same thing in the end. In, out, whatever. That's how you do it. And you may find that this is of great benefit to you in your life. The scream's been there all along. I guess it was waiting for something. Like to go from potential to actual. Like to go from your recognition of its existence to a realization of it in your conscious awareness, to a manifestation of it in the world, using your vocal cords. To give you an idea of just one aspect of the effect this may have in your consciousness. your life, your subconscious life, and then your conscious life. From your conscious life now into your subconscious world, which will affect, later on swing back around into your conscious life. How about the utterance of the raw primal sound of our vocal cords vibrating with our lips open? Ah. No specific utterance. No modulation to form different letters, different combinations of them, different combinations of symbol expression, vocal, oral symbol expression, no. Or with the lips closed. The primal, the sound of our just raw vibrating vocal cords with lips closed. It's the lips closed version of ah. So it's put them together and you get ah. Recognize that? That's supposedly calming. It's our human vocal cord representation or emulation of the sound of the Holy Ghost. The sound, the primal sound, like the primal vibration of the cosmos. Vibration is sound. Ultimately, right down to the bottom of it. And before there's light, there's sound even. There's basic vibration. Raw vibration. Ah. And when we do that, it rattles our cranial nerves with the most primitive vibration that we can create to rattle them. Right there next to them with our vocal cords. And it's soothing. I mean, just consider its parallels, the analogies here and so forth. Yeah, it's going to be soothing. It's in harmony with cosmic vibration. So here, another kind of verbal utterance that's primitive, raw, is the scream. Not just a scream. Yes, screaming. Yeah, sure, like a baby. Right? But we're talking about, in any specific case, the scream. So it's worth it. It's worth the doing. And that's how to get it done. The scream. And how to make it. I guess that's what we'll call this. Something like that. Did you like it? Give the video a thumb up. Did you not like it? Give the video a thumb up. Subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumb up. Activate the notification bell feature. Give the video a thumb up. Give the video a thumb up and give the video a thumb up. Comment courteously below. Give the video a thumb up. You heard it here on Theron Kirama Chiraka. Give the video a thumb up. I'm Turk Strongman. Give the video a thumb up. Be well. Give the video a thumb up.